Third topic today, the NBA withdrawal deadline is coming up tomorrow. We're going to find out officially for any of the other teams that are still in waiting on some big time answers. And I want to come up with the five teams with the most at stake. Now, reminder, we're recording this Monday around lunchtime. So there may be news that breaks tonight or by the time you're listening to this that just hasn't happened when we're talking about this. So if we're out of date on anything, we apologize. But I don't think it will change. Decisions being made tonight or this week with the teams that have the most to lose or potentially gain at the NBA withdrawal deadline. So let's come up with a list of five college basketball teams with the most at stake this week. Where do you want to start?
I'm gonna start with the obvious ones. I'm gonna say, Michigan and Auburn, right? Those are the two big ones.
Tahad Pettiford and Yaxel Lendeborg, I think, are probably the two biggest names here. I would add one more to that right now that's still waiting, and that's Milos Uzan at Houston.
I thought he was gone. Did Cart lie to me?
He's not formally gone.
Okay, Cart lied to me because I thought it was official.
Not formally gone.
Okay, then yeah, I want to add Houston to that too because
Otega Owe is also still technically up in the air. Arkansas with Carter Knox and Adu Thiero still technically up in the air. I think we've got like the RJ Lewis, Jameer Watkins, PJ Haggerty, but I don't think those are necessarily going to impact a team the way we would sort of think about it. So I don't
Can
know.
I add one though
Sure.
that is in that last grouping?
Yeah.
Florida's getting one of those three. And I think there's a vacancy at Florida that's clear. And they have money to spend still. That's clear. I think Florida, if they can return Condon and then add one of those three, they're right back where they were last year.
Even with Boogie Flan, you think they're going to pay for somebody else like that still?
I think so. I think they're leaving things open because they know like we just have to let the pieces fall into our hands. And they did it with Boogie, where it's like we're not going to jump the gun and we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're just going to let things come to us. And I think Golden's doing a great job of that at the moment.
Yeah, okay. I think that's totally fair. Let me make sure I'm not out of date already on Milos. I thought that Milos was still making his decision.
Well, Cart did say that to me like a month ago. And I thought it was really early for Milos to have said that.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, he's still, although I see him working out for the Warriors is the latest update, but I think he's still considering.
So
All
you
right,
guys
so
sign
let's
me up.
let's rank these. We would say Michigan and Auburn are 1 and 2, just giving you Axel and Pettiford, right?
I think Houston above Auburn.
So, and I would say this, Michigan should be alone because I don't think there's a Yaxel replacement if they don't get Yaxel. Auburn, if they don't get Pettiford, will just get PJ Haggerty.
Yeah, and I think Houston's at two just because if they return Milos, like, is there a better team in the country than Houston? Like, I think that's like one of those difference makers where it's like they might jump Purdue in rankings if Milos comes back.
Agreed. So let's put Michigan 1, Houston 2, Auburn 3. Do you want to put Florida 4, given like one more roster move slash they got to wait out Condon?
Yeah, I like Florida at four.
All right. And then fifth to me is probably Kentucky or Arkansas. It's
I was
just,
gonna say Kentucky, Arkansas, or North Carolina. Because I think North Carolina is another one of these schools that has money to spend. They lost out on Boogie, so they're clearly still looking to add pieces to the roster, and they could wind up with one of these dudes that's still making a decision.
I don't hate that. If we were going to go like the blue blood with money roster, I think I'd argue Kansas over
Like,
Carolina because Kansas at least was trying for a couple of these dudes. I'll make my pitch. I think it's Arkansas. They got multiple moving parts here. Kentucky, I think, knows Otega always back.
I think so too. I also think if Kentucky loses Otega, I don't think they replace him with anything either.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so let's put. What are we putting Arkansas? Or are we putting Kentucky?
Arkansas, I
Okay,
think.
Arkansas fifth, Florida 4, Auburn 3, Houston 2, Michigan 1. The teams with the most at stake.